Hello everyone, it is me, Sir Handle Gaming, aka Louis, back again, and today I'm going to be giving you some of my Thomas headcanons. So, without further ado, let's get into them. The first one is discussing the placement of the one and only Three Bridges set that everyone hates. I personally think the Three Bridges is somewhere near Knapford on the main line. The top bridge is a road, and the bottom line is the Little Western going to Callan, which connects up to Thomas's branch line. The next one is on the alternate take of the Season 6 episode Middle Engine. I'm not really a big fan of that episode, so I rewrote it. Instead of Harry and Bert, it has Splatter and Dodge in it, and instead of Percy being blamed for Henry pushing him on the Tipper's loading ramp, he accidentally pushes Toby on the Tipper's loading ramp, and Percy gets rightfully blamed for it. Now, the next one is one of my favourites. It's about the Ghost engine on the Old Iron Bridge. He was the original number 3 engine on the Skarloey Railway, came to the railway about the same time as Skarloey and Rheneas, but before all the other engines arrived, the number 3 engine fell off the Old Iron Bridge, and when Sir Handel came to the Skarloey Railway, he became the brand new number 3 engine. Little Giant is a cancelled character from Season 6, but in my headcanon, he came to the Skarloey Railway sometime in the mid-70s, and he usually works at Lakeside with the boat trains. Now, here's my headcanon on the engine liveries. All the TV series liveries for the main 7 engines are there, but they have black running boards instead of white. Skarloey and Rusty are the only engines to have the Railway Series liveries, while all the others have the TV series liveries. Murdoch is maroon colour, and Daisy is also the Railway Series livery. Boko isn't actually owned by the Fat Controller. He is owned by someone else on the mainland near Sodor. But Boko comes to Sodor quite frequently, but after Season 5 he didn't really come to Sodor that much. Another headcanon about Boko is that the reason why he's called Boko and not Kobo, because of his real agent, is because he actually drove backwards in most of his early life. The Peel Godred branch line is in the middle of the island and has many junctions coming out of many stations. One coming out of Wellsworth, which is the track Henry went on in Haunted Henry, one coming out of Maron, which is where the crossing was in Haunted Henry on the other track, and one coming from Ulfstead on Thomas's branch line. The Fat Controller had actually always owned Diesel since he actually first came to the railway. When he got sent away, he didn't get sent off the island. He was working on the Peel Godred branch, and the Fat Controller kept bringing him back time after time to see if he became a better engine. Duncan used to work in a factory near Peel Godred, which connected up with the Mid-Sodor Railway, which is why we see him in the Mid-Sodor and Bulldog. This factory was mostly filled with modern diesels, which is why Duncan didn't like Rusty when he came to the Skarloey Railway. It's also the same factory where Louis used to work. Speaking of him, let's talk about Louis, aka my own character. And he is the engine that you're seeing on screen right this minute. He was built in 1878 and used to work for the Corris Railway, but in 1930 he got transferred to the factory where Duncan worked, and he stayed there until 1971. He was bought by the Finn Controller and got a huge overhaul in 1972, and in 1973 he came to the Skarloey Railway as the number 8 engine and mostly worked at the slate quarry. The Ghost Train, seen in the episode Ghost Train, used to be the engine that run the Farquhar branch before Thomas came. He was very similar to Percy, but obviously the Ghost Train got into an accident before Thomas came to Sodor. The Ghost Train from Season 6 worked on the Peel Godred branch. Around the time the strike happened and Percy arrived, one day the engine's brakes failed and he couldn't stop. He went inside the smelters and was never seen again. The only part of him found was his tender, and he was the same class as Donald and Douglas. The Skarloey Railway line is a giant loop, and the Mid-Sodor line is a stretch of line in the middle of the loop. The Mid-Sodor line starts at Crovan's Gate and ends at the top at Skarloey Station. In the world's strongest engine, Diesel was trialled to be a dockyard diesel, but obviously failed. After that, the Fat Controller purchased Salty, and he came to work at the docks instead of Diesel. The Season 9 episode Thomas's Day Off, which is the episode which first features Dennis, and he never speaks again. Hit error characters being lazy again. Surprise, surprise. Anyways, that episode takes place in 1959, where Dennis's real-life engine was withdrawn and was purchased by the Fat Controller, and he now works at the fishing village with Arthur on Duck's branch line. The reason why Bill and Ben cause pranks and mischief all the time is because they were treated very badly on the old railway and wanted to find some sort of entertainment. And our final headcanon for today is about the Markland engine and the North Western Railway itself. The Fat Controller had rented out the Markland engine to help construction on the North Western Railway. During the time of Season 1, the North Western Railway only went to Kildane, but by the time of Season 2, they finished construction at Vickerstown. Well, that's all the headcanons I have for today. I might do a part 2, but for now, these are all the headcanons I have.